Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan, and this is We the People Prepping. In an earlier video, I'd told people that you don't have to have a lot of money to be a prepper. A lot of the things that you might need, you could a lot of times find at little thrift stores, the consignment stores and so forth. It really doesn't cost you a whole lot. You go in. I mean, it's one of mine and my wife's pastimes is we'll go to thrift stores, look around, see what we might find that would be interesting. Now, a lot of preppers like to can their own foods out of the garden, which is something that we like to do here. And we were at a thrift store Friday when I'd got in off the road and found a really, really good deal. I'll show you here in just a second what I'd found, and it'll surprise you as to what I paid for it. Now, the price that's marked on it isn't actually what I paid for it. I got it cheaper than what's marked on there because the tags, certain color tags, were marked down to $1. And I will show you exactly what I got, and you will not believe the deal that I've got on this here. But you can find a lot of things at thrift stores that they don't really know what they have sometimes. I've found some really quality knives before at thrift stores, blades that you would go to a knife store or a hardware store or whatever, pay a couple of $100 for $10, $15 at these thrift stores before. So here in just a second, I am going to show you the deal that I got, and it only cost me $1. That's it, $1. Okay, so if you're ready, I'll pause the video and show you here in just a second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I found at a thrift store for just $1. Now, on the price tag, you'll notice it says $5. But this color tag at the thrift store was only $1. Okay, now it come with a 15-pound weight. Okay, let's see if I can find that on here. There it is on the top. It's got a 15-pound weight jiggler on it. Okay, this is a 6-quart canner, is what this is. It's a 6-quart pressure canner. Has the rubber seal, as you can see. Now I'll probably buy a new rubber seal, but I also have to buy the rack that's inside. All in all, I might wind up spending $15 for a new rack for inside and a new rubber seal to go on it. But like I said, as you can see, the rubber seal's loose, so it just falls right out. But for $1, I got a 6-quart pressure canner at the thrift store. Now, you ain't going to find a much better deal than that. I was looking at one of these out at Rural King. Ran about $89 for just a 6-quart canner. Okay, this is a Presto canner. Or nope, sorry, I take that back. This is a Miro canner. May not be the best in the world, but it will work for the purpose that I need it for. Because sometimes I don't want to do a large batch of 20 quarts at a time. Sometimes I only need to do 4 or 5, maybe 6 quarts, and this is a 6-quart canner. Okay, now finding a better deal than that? I don't think so. Yes, I'm shooting this video from out in my storage shed. The blue thing that you see there is actually a canopy. My shed is a bit of a mess with the holidays coming up. I've got totes that are open, a lot of camping equipment in there, toys, games, just little things. Down here on the bottom shelf, you can see I have a Dutch oven down there. It's just little odds and ends. Yes, there's several lawnmowers in here. Fishing poles. There's a little camping heater. That one actually runs off of little canisters of butane. Uh, got a case of the butane off of Amazon for like $15. And that actually works really good. Um, I wouldn't advise it for winter heating your tent, because you do need to have your tent ventilated with that. Now, like the tent that I have for the family, it works great because at the top of the tent we have 4 vents that we can open up, and it lets the CO out. But as you see, ladies and gentlemen, that is a really good deal for that canner. By the time I'm all done, like I said, I'll only have about $15, because I already checked for the rack that goes in the bottom of there, along with the seals. I can get 2 seals and the rack off of Amazon for about 15 bucks. So I'll have $15, $16 wrapped up in it, compared to $80, $90 out at Rural King or local farm implement store. Even Walmart doesn't have a canner that can be bought this cheap. Now, I'll give you a little glimpse of our property here while you're at it. This summer we plan on tilling up the entire backyard here and planting a garden. This year we just had a small little garden, but I'll give you a little glimpse here. Okay, my property line goes all the way back here to the railroad tracks. Okay, and there's our small little garden, my neighbor's fence, satellite dish that I don't even use anymore. I need to pull that up out of the ground. I have the clotheslines here, as you can see. Okay, well, I took the lines down because I kept hanging myself on those. But in a grid down situation, if I need to dry clothes, I can run new lines out here on that pole, hang my clothes up to dry. As you can see in the garden there, you should be able to see anyhow, there are some rotting pumpkins and so forth. Those are from Halloween. We threw them out there. We're going to let them compost out all through the winter time, and then we will till up the entire backyard here and turn it into a garden. Yes, that's a burn pile out there. I've got a few things to burn, but it's actually a pretty good sized piece of property. Yeah, so it'll make a really good garden for this year. Now, while we were out at the thrift stores, we've seen a lot of old hand tools, like the old drills that you have to crank by hand. You know, I wish I'd had the forethought to record it, but they were only like $2 or $3, you know. And in a grid down situation where there is no power and you need to drill a hole, that would come in handy. Now, I suggest that people have hand tools on hand, stuff that does not require power, because in a grid down situation, how are you going to charge your DeWalt drill and so forth? You need to have old-fashioned hand tools just in case. I mean, hammers, you know, old hand saws, hand drills, stuff like that. You'd be surprised those things could possibly save your life in a grid down situation, especially if it's long term. You know, if you need to build something, you know, you're not going to have the power to do it. So I suggest that everybody buy some. I have some here in a tote in the shed, just old tools. I'm not going to get the tote because it's up on the top shelf, but maybe in a later video I'll pull that tote down and show you some of the old-fashioned hand tools that I have that were passed down from my grandfather to me. He was definitely old school. His entire house he built himself while he was working. He would come home from work every night and work on his house, and in the meantime they just lived in a little shack out in front. But he built a nice little 2-bedroom home all by himself from wood that he had salvaged from barns and places like that. People would tell him, you know, hey, if you tear that down, you can have the wood from it. Well, he would go and he would tear that down, take the wood home. use it to build his home. Now, I can just imagine how hard that might have been when he built that home back in the 50s. He didn't have the power tools like he has now, or like he had when he passed away, I should say. He used old hand tools like a hand drill, and this was some aged oak that he was drilling through, so he had to put some work into it, ladies and gentlemen. It was not an easy task. But in the end, after about 5 years, he had his little 2-bedroom home built. It was a beautiful place. I wish it was still standing now, but after he passed away, it was sold and tore down, and somebody built a business on there now. But, he taught me a lot about carpentry and the value of hard work. And I tried to pass that down to my children. Of course, you know how children are. Whether they listened or not, it's not so easy to get your kids nowadays with all the technological advances we've got to pay attention to the old-time ways. I took my kids out hunting, fishing, I taught them how to trap and all that. But whether or not they paid enough attention to where they would be able to use those skills in the future in a grid-down situation or to survive, I honestly couldn't tell you. But I did my best to pass this information down to my children. I think that's something that every parent should do to their children is take them and teach them the older skills, stuff that doesn't rely on electricity and computers and all that. I started my sons out teaching them how to work on cars, old cars, and then my oldest son, when he got older, he went to college for 4 years and got a degree in automotive technologies and works as a mechanic now. So some things do stick with the kids, Other things, maybe not so much, Like my son doesn't like to go camping. He would rather sit at home and play video games. Now, my youngest daughter, she is 15 now. She loves to go camping. Oh my God. We took her out camping and she just fell in love and enjoys being out in nature, walking the trails, building a fire, roasting marshmallows, all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, it's not always the boys that enjoy those things. The girls will enjoy them too. It's just a matter of making it fun and teaching them in a fun manner to where they enjoy it. Well, this has been Dan with We the People, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you like my content, I ask that you would subscribe and hit the thumbs up button, and possibly share this with your friends. But that's about all I've got for today, so I wish each and every one of you a happy and blessed day. Take care of each other. Remember to help one another. This is Dan, and We the People. Bye.